everyone. Welcome to our show, Breakfast Foods Around the World. I'm your host, Erica Ng.
And I'm Stephanie La.
And we're here to explore and try breakfast from different countries.
Through this experience, we're hoping to gain appreciation for the different types of food enjoyed around the world through our lens. We're going to the show with judgment-free mindsets and hope that you too will appreciate the delicacies from these cultures. For this episode, we will be touching upon East Asia, specifically what some people in Hong Kong eat. So, Erica, what do we have for today?
So we have dim sum. Yay! So let me quickly introduce what we have here. So we have hagao, and then the one here in the middle is called siu mai. And then we have a taro puff pastry, cow tripe, and beef tripe. And then we have some shrimp rice noodles, also known as ha cheng in Chinese.
Well, that looks good, and I want to dig in like now.
Let's try it.
Should we just try one of them first and then go into it?
Sure.
Yeah, let's try the hagao. So this one is a type of dim sum. It's actually wrapped in a translucent wrapping, and there's actually shrimp inside of it. So yeah, Erica, go ahead, take a taste.
All right.
I know we have like soy sauce, but this is typically dipped into soy sauce.
I actually always dip this in sriracha.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you not use soy sauce at all?
I do, but I grew up eating dim sum, and I just remember whenever I would go to the restaurants with my family, they always served this plate that had hot sauce on one side, and then I think it's mustard on the other side. And I would always dip my dim sum in hot sauce, but I really like spicy, so that's probably why.
Honestly, I agree with you. I put it with soy sauce, and then I put some sriracha in there, and that tastes really good. We don't have that here today, which is kind of unfortunate, but it still tastes really good. Yeah, this is like probably the number one thing you will find in a dim sum restaurant.
Yeah,
when you're having breakfast, because everybody loves this unless you don't eat shrimp.
I feel like whenever you go for dim sum, the first thing that always pop up in your mind or in everyone's mind is always hagao siu mai. You know, because traditionally in a dim sum restaurant, you would see people pushing carts with, layers and layers of these, bamboo containers.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And that's where you put the dim sum in. So it's actually quite the experience. I do realize that nowadays we don't see that a lot. It's more of a order as you go kind of style.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, this is really, really good. And it's such like a small portion. Like you could eat a lot of these. At a dim sum restaurant, don't they typically give you 4? Yeah. In the container?
Yep, 3 or 4.
Yeah, so
tapa style, right?
Yeah, it is tapa style. So I would be the person who would just be like, hello to the lady pushing the cart, and I would say, can you give me more? And then there would just be like these stacks of containers. Yeah, let's try the next one. Yep, so the next one here in the middle is the siu mai, and this is
pork.
Yeah.
Yep, so it's pork. I can't tell you how they make it, but it is delicious. Again, with sriracha, so good.
This is probably like the number one thing that I eat at dim sum. Yeah. The number one.
So it's very interesting because we call it dim sum in English, but then in Chinese, it's, we actually say yam cha, which means drink tea. So I would always hear my mom, my grandparents say, oh, let's go yam cha. And it means let's go drink tea. And that automatically means let's go for dim sum, even though the direct translation is drink tea. It's interesting.
It's really good. I'm just stuffing my face. I want to savor the flavor. The number one thing that you should do is savor the flavor. That's what you gotta do with dim sum.
Yeah. You know, actually, in dim sum, the direct translation is touch the heart. So you can see here that the plates, each one of these pieces of dim sum are very unique. They're very beautiful to look at, actually. And I believe historically these were designed to touch the heart. And not so much to fill you up. I think traditionally or historically, these were actually made to be enjoyed as snacks as opposed to like a lunch.
Yeah.
And I think just over time, we just started having this, and it kind of became our breakfast, brunch, lunch.
Yep. I don't think you won't typically find people eating this for dinner.
No.
Yeah.
Although there are all-day dim sum nowadays.
Yeah. But typically, not really. Not literally for dinner. Yeah, do we want to jump to the next one? Because personally, I have never tried this one.
I'm already on it.
I've never actually tried this, which is strange because I see this all the time, but I guess it never really caught my eye. So what is this exactly?
So this is a taro puff. So inside there is taro, and some minced pork, and then I believe they deep fry it, which creates like very crispy layer on the outside.
I love deep fried stuff. So
yeah, let me know what you think.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is actually so good. I'm not just saying this for that.
Yeah, this is actually one of my favorite. I prefer this over spring rolls.
That's what it tastes like. It tastes kind of like a spring roll.
With taro. I feel like it also has a very different texture.
The texture is different.
Yeah.
The taste of this one is similar to the filling I've had in another, like the spring roll, like the vegetable spring roll. The fried one. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what it tastes like. Oh my, this is really good.
So very interesting because I feel like dim sum is not something you have at home though. So growing up, we would have dim sum when we would go out to a restaurant to eat. So dim sum isn't something you normally have at home, maybe because of how difficult it is to make. But growing up, I always had congee or fried noodles, or even like a macaroni soup.
I've never had a macaroni soup either.
Oh, so I thought it was just something that my mom would make growing up until I went to Hong Kong and I went to McDonald's, and that was all over their menu. Macaroni soup and either like a Hong Kong style milk tea or like a honey lemon tea that you would have it with your meal.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've never had a macaroni soup before. Growing up, I do have to agree with you. I also only went to eat dim sum when I was at a restaurant, and it's like when I had a lot of relatives come over, then we would go. But at home, congee was the number one thing that we ate for breakfast. But I usually ate congee when I was sick. So I think that's like because it's like a healing food.
Right, it's a comfort food.
Yeah, healing, comfort food, like congee, just the number one thing. We, in like Vietnamese people, this is coming from the half of Vietnamese side of me, we would eat it primarily with like duck.
Oh.
Yeah, like congee with duck or like tilapia.
Oh, interesting. I've actually never had it with that. I've had it with pork. The 1,000-year-old preserved eggs.
Yep.
That was my favorite. Or plain, or with fish, but never with duck. That is very interesting.
Yeah, like the duck part of it is like it's like boiled duck, and we like put like there's like these like the fish sauce, and there's like pepper flakes on it. There's like this kind of sauce. I don't even know what it's called in English. but we call it like nước mắm in Vietnamese, and like we also like throw that on top. It's like mixed with a bunch of things, mixed with a bunch of spices. We put that on top of congee too. So it's like the Vietnamese style that I'm used to. I think that's like, maybe it might just be like my household. My grandma makes it a lot. But like, I think it does apply to like other people who are Viet.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really interesting and tastes amazing.
I guess we'll be trying that for our episode of Vietnamese breakfast. Stephanie will be making that homemade.
Homemade Viet dishes.
All right, so should we try the next one? So this is a tripe.
Yeah, so this is beef tripe, and honestly, this is one of my favorite things to get at dim sum. So I got a really big piece in there.
Yeah, this is something I grew up eating and never really realized what it was until I got older. But yeah, I love this too. So this is very chewy, as we can see Stephanie here trying. It is very chewy. I think you may have a better time if you just... Oh, okay, she's got it.
We got it.
All right. So I think I'm just going to put this all in my mouth.
Go for it. Very chewy. And this is like the inner lining of the intestine, right? The tripe. I think. While she's chewing, tripe is, I feel like people either love this or hate this as well. It's not common to eat tripe.
I feel like I wouldn't say that it's not common. I feel like a lot of people actually eat tripe. Maybe not so much in Canada, but I do feel like around the world, tripe is a very common dish.
Yeah. In Canadian culture, tripe is very common. Yeah.
Okay, so let's try the next one. We have the ha churn here, which is shrimp rolled inside rice noodles, and we normally pour soy sauce over this. So here it is, and the soy sauce is not very salty. The soy sauce that normally comes with this is very sweet.
We need a knife for this. Look at that. Okay. Oof. There we go.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. I'll try to get as much as I can in this bite.
It's good. It's exactly how I remember it. It's sweet. It's very soft. Not chewy.
Soft.
Different textures because of the shrimp. Now they also serve this with beef. And sometimes I see like this little, very small, like dehydrated shrimp with some green onions. Have you ever had that?
Dehydrated shrimp. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There are variations of this, but for me growing up, the shrimp was the most popular in my family. It is also my favorite.
I would have to agree with you there. Shrimp is number one. The most ordered dish on for dim sum for me. Sorry, my mouth is full.
You said that about, I felt like, all the dishes today. So which one is it really?
I love all of these. I can't even choose. Like, this is new to me.
So what would you say is your favorite today?
Just on today?
Today or any regular day?
Okay, on a regular day, I would choose the siu mai because this is just really frippin' good. For today, I would have to choose this one, the taro, because I haven't had this before, but this is really, really, really good.
I'm so glad I introduced something new to you today because that is my favorite, and that is also my grandma's favorite. My grandma, who's no longer with us, but whenever I order that, I always think of her. So I'm really, really happy to hear that that is your favorite
Today.
That's it for today on this episode of Breakfast Foods Around the World, Hong Kong edition. We'll see you in our next episode. Respect our food.